This story is called Pirate Gold by Michael Salmon. The pioneers lazed around the main deck of the hogwash playing cards. There wasn't much else to do. They'd chased several Spanish galleons around the ocean before relieving them of their treasure, but that had been weeks ago and nothing much had happened since then. They were feeling very bored. They wanted to sail back home to Tortuga and spend their loot, but instead Captain Porker had ordered them to anchor off a boring little tropical island. He always stopped here. The captain was busy in his cabin. He was very annoyed. "Suffering seaweed," said Captain Porker. "Where is my treasure map?" It wasn't in any of the usual hiding places. He needed to dig up his treasure chest so he could add more stolen gold to his stash. As a captain of the pioneers, he always received the biggest share of the loot, much to the envy of the piggy crew. But Captain Porker's map was nowhere to be found. "Bandy-legged barracudas," he bellowed. "If anyone has touched my precious map, it will be bacon burgers for him. Those pushy pigs are always poking their little pink snouts into my business." As he stomped towards the door, he saw a piece of paper sticking out from behind a picture frame. It was the map. I've never hidden my map there before," he mumbled, and he stuffed it inside his coat. Later that night, he waited until he could hear the pioneers snoring in their sleep, and then he tiptoed across the deck, carrying his gold and shovel into one of the rowboats. He lowered the boat into the water and he rowed towards the island where his treasure chest was buried. When he reached the beach, Captain Porker unrolled his map. He strode 20 paces north of the big rock, then 30 paces west towards the palm tree, and started to dig. After a few minutes, he grew worried. He hadn't heard the clunk of the shovel on the wooden chest, his favourite sound. He dug deeper into the soft sand, but there was nothing there but a big hole. He checked his map again. This was definitely the right spot. He dug another hole next to the first one, then another next to that, and another and another. Sand flew everywhere as he shovelled furiously. Early the next morning, Captain Porker lay groaning on top of one of his sand hills. His back ached and his piggy feet were very sore. He had been digging the entire night. There were holes all over the beach. He had dug up a rusty cannon, lots of cannonballs, an old statue, and even a nest of crocodile eggs, but no treasure chest. "My beautiful treasure has been stolen," he moaned. "It's gone, all gone." Captain Porker was puzzled. Who could have taken the gold? The pioneers weren't that smart, or so he thought. Perhaps it was those froggy sailors. They were always playing around on the seashore. Or perhaps it was those grandee goats. Maybe they'd found the treasure his crew had stolen from them. Or maybe it was Admiral Horatio and his bulldogs with their fast naval frigate. They'd been trying to catch the captain and his treasure for years. No, it was most likely that wily pirate rival of his, Captain Fang, and his greedy sea wolves. They would really enjoy stealing all his pirate booty. The more Captain Porker thought about his missing treasure, the more upset he became. He picked up his shovel and the gold he wanted to bury, and he trudged back to the rowboat. Achoo! Somebody sneezed, and then he heard some muffled laughter behind the trees. Captain Porker's aches and pains vanished. "I'll get you, you lily-livered treasure snavellers," he yelled as he waved his cutlass in the air, and he rushed towards the sound. By the time he reached the trees, though, there was no one in sight. The treasure thieves had escaped into the thick jungle. There were, however, lots of little piggy footprints in the soft earth. "I know who you are. Just you wait till I get back to the ship," Captain Porker roared. Back on board the hogwash, Captain Porker lined up his crew on the deck. His cheeks were bright scarlet. He looked as though he was about to burst a boiler. Big bore, Peg-Leg Pete and the rest of the Pioneers shuffled nervously from foot to foot. Their practical joke on the captain had backfired. They had never seen him this angry before. "How dare you play tricks on me, you dirty rotten swine? Where is my treasure chest?" demanded the captain. It was just a bit of fun," stammered Piglet Ned, the youngest Pioneer. We moved the chest. We were going to put it back, honest." "Well, you can all move it right back here, this instant," fumed Captain Porker, "whilst I decide what horrible punishments there will be." The Pioneers had hidden the captain's chest by a swamp in the middle of the jungle, but they couldn't remember the way. So old Salty the parrot flew over the treetops and saw the swamp ahead. But when they reached the swamp, the chest had disappeared. "Oh no," said Pigsty, "it must have slid into the swamp. What are we going to do?" No one wanted to set foot in the murky, gurgling water. "Look over here," exclaimed Piglet Ned. "There are marks in the ground. The chest has been dragged through here." The Pioneers pushed through the thick jungle, following the trail of broken branches. It led to the other side of the island. The trail crossed the sand to the sea. From the beach, the Pioneers could see the treasure chest bobbing up and down in the ocean. Old Salty flew up once again and circled the chest. He fluttered back, squawking excitedly, "It's the ship rats! Those rotten little rodents are paddling the chest back towards the hogwash. Quickly, we've got to stop them." The Pioneers rushed back along the beach to the rowboat, but the sneaky rats had taken the oars. "Oh, we'll have to swim after them," exclaimed Peg-Leg Pete. He was a very good swimmer because his wooden leg kept him afloat. "Once they reach the ship, the captain's treasure will be lost forever down the rat hole." The Pioneers rushed into the water. Meanwhile, the ship rats were nearing the hogwash. They had overheard the plan to dig up the captain's treasure chest, and they had waited for their chance to steal the loot. As soon as they reached the ship, they started hauling the treasure up onto the deck, piece by piece. But the greedy rats had forgotten that Captain Porker was still on board. As they hauled up the last bag of golden doubloons, the captain stepped out from behind the mainmast. "Avast there, you scurvy rats! Get your paws off my treasure!" "What treasure?" squeaked the head rat, sheepishly looking around. Bang! The captain shot his pistol into the air. The rats ran for their lives. Back in the ocean, the Pioneers were slowly nearing the ship. It was hard work swimming so far. The waves splashed in their faces. Pigsty swallowed a mouthful of salt water by mistake. Yuck! He hated water. It made him feel too clean. Suddenly, big black fins appeared. A pack of very hungry sharks was after them. It was going to be fresh pork for lunch today. The pigs had never swum so fast in all their lives. The sharks were getting closer, closer, their sharp teeth gleaming. The frightened Pioneers clambered up the side of the ship. The sharks snapped at their heels as the pirates swung out of danger. Life soon returned to normal on the ship. Captain Porker decided that the Pioneers had been punished enough for their silly prank. After all, they'd nearly been shark food. The captain chained his treasure chest to his bed. He intended to keep a watchful eye on it at all times. He locked his cabin door and he dropped the key into his pocket. "That should do it," he muttered as he stepped out onto the deck. "My treasure is safe at last." Captain Porker's cabin. Keep out, this means you. The end. And here's all the guys in the book. The Pioneer photo album. Me with my favourite comic. The hogwash sailed into Tortuga Harbour. Warty takes a break. Peg-Leg Pete makes himself beautiful. His date with the mermaid. Some snaps from our Pirate X Factor talent night. Big Boar's mum reads us all a bedtime story. Nasty Captain Fang makes a surprise visit. You pesky rat. Captain Porker inspects his latest loot. Again. Old Salty looks out. And there's a colouring in. That's the end of the story.